sorry I'm so late. I mean, I just was downstairs signing pictures, and then the walk over here was about a half hour.
Well, luckily with the fireplace, there's no stress, no tension. It's all about relaxing and enjoying it. So, there you go. Actually,
you know, because it's so cold in here. You can't feel my feet.
You can't have a fireplace chat without a stove.
Stogie?
There you go.
Nice.
There you go. There we go. Yeah. So, reading good letters lately?
Reading good letters? No. No, I never read letters. I never write letters. That was a very unique experience.
And how did that come about? How did you get involved with that? With the sorority girl letter?
My publicist set it up. Funny or Die had been wanting to do something with me for a long time, apparently. And I went to LA for the Iceman premiere. And I was at my hotel. I had just gotten in from the airport. And my publicist picked me up. She drove me over to this woman's house, one of the producers at Funny or Die. And I read the letter. It was all on cue cards. I read the letter in the car on the way over to the lady's house. I never read it before.
How many shots did it take, or how many takes?
We did 7 takes, 2 wide, 2 medium, 2 close, and 1 profile.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's...
For all you film students out there.
It's and there are probably many. All right, let's start off with the gentleman on the left there with a question. Keep it one question, tight, concise, and let's get rolling.
As an actor, what are some of the sacrifices you have had to make to get where you are now?
Well, yeah, that's interesting. You know, it's weird when I come to Chicago nowadays, a lot of people have no idea that I was ever here to begin with. Some people come up to me and say, how are you enjoying the Windy City? And I say, well, I spent years and years living here in poverty, sleeping on floors, and so I have very fond memories of the Windy City. But it means a lot to me. I spent a lot of time here acting for free and not making any money, and I love doing it. I didn't really get into it to become rich, but yeah, over the years, it just kind of happened. I had the good fortune to meet some people like Tracy Letts, who wrote Killer Joe and Bug, and I did those plays, and they just catapulted me to this other place, because we did them in New York and London, and I met people. But anyway, your question was what, you know, it was never really that painful for me, even when I was like poor. It didn't really bother me. I just loved doing it.
And now you're back in Chicago for Simpatico, right?
Yeah, I'm going to play at this theater. We started it 20 years ago. It's our 20th anniversary. And thanks. And yeah, we're having a great time. It's a Sam Shepard play called Simpatico. And I'm going to do it twice today. That's the reason I have to leave here, because I'm going to go do a play twice.
And it's at the Red Orchid Theater playing through the 25th of August.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, and the Superman shirt.
Zack Snyder is such a fun guy to work for, and he's such a nice person, and he makes me laugh. I mean, he's very funny, and you really look forward to going to his set every day. And there's not a lot of directors I can honestly say that about. Like, you look forward to seeing him. You know? He's a really smart guy, and so you know, I save this stressed out stuff for when I would say save it for when you're actually being filmed, because if they're not filming you, then no one's going to see it. So that's my advice. Yeah, in terms of the fitness, we all got thrown into the hands of Mark Twight. Well, myself, Henry, obviously, Anja, and Russell. We trained the whole summer before we started shooting with Mark Twight, who Zach first started working with on 300. Mark trained all the fellas in 300 to get them into shape. He's a phenomenal trainer. He has a gym out in Salt Lake City called Jim Jones. And him and his partner, Michael, trains really, yeah, it's funny. But he was a mountain climber. Mark's actually kind of not a huge guy. He's small and wiry, but you can tell he's just fiercely strong. And anyway, yeah, but we had a good time. Even doing that, we had a good time. I mean, I have no complaints about being a Man of Steel, believe me. So, yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much.
My guy doesn't like doing, like he doesn't, I never got the impression that my guy cared whether you kneeled or not. He was just like, oh, Krypton just blew up, what am I going to do? It wasn't important. He didn't feel the need to like bully, you know, if everything's fine on Krypton, I think General Zod's probably actually a pretty easygoing dude. The problem he has is his planet just exploded. So he's got to fix that. So that kind of motivates all his behavior. Does that answer your question?
It'll work.
Well, he's an iconic villain, but you didn't approach him as a villain.
No. I mean, that wasn't my idea. That's what Zach asked me to do. I was just doing what Zach and David Warrior, the writer, asked me to do.
Yes.
Man, that's a dumb question, but what's it like working with Werner Herzog? And can you do an impression of him too?
You know, I would. I just heard so many people do it so much better than me. I feel pretty bad, pretty low. But it's like to work with Werner. Michael is very talented young man. If he does what I tell him to do, he will do a sensational performance. As long as he does exactly what I tell him to do. When I go to work in the morning, I act out the scene for him so he can watch it and see how I want him to do it. And this is how we work. This is how we work together. Is I show him exactly every little thing I want. Hopefully that answers your question. I didn't prepare much for Curtis at all because I didn't feel like Curtis was really much prepared for anything. Curtis is like not a complicated person, really, I don't think. He works at a sand mine, so I didn't want to be ahead of him. Like a lot of people, and this is valid, and I never disparage anyone's opinion, but a lot of people think it's a movie about mental illness, which for me, in my approach, it wasn't. It was just about a guy who started having really bad dreams about a storm, and they were freaking him out, and he was trying to figure out what to do about it. Same way with Zod, you find out, you look at the person, you're like, what the hell, what is this person doing? Like, what are they trying to do? And once you figure that out, then you try and do it. And with Zod, it was more like I was worried about being believable as a general. So I read the memoirs of Ulysses S. Grant. I didn't read them fastidiously. I skipped around here and there. But I just wanted to get some idea of like what that would be like to be, because it's so unfathomable. I can't say this word. Unfathomable to me. The idea of being I look at General Petraeus or Schwarzkopf, where I was like, how the heck do you even get to be a general? I mean, you must just be really cool. So I read that book and I tried to think about what that perspective would be like.
All right, folks, this has been